All right. So here we are, part two. Again, we have our means calculated for the freshman men and freshman women. We highlight that, and we're going to make a bar graph. So again, we need to choose the correct chart type. It's actually a column here. And um, just for the sake, this is important that we have these things like this, where one's blue and one's red. If we switch this over to having it like that, this is a problem because now in the customization, we can't isolate the particular bar and put in the error bar. So we do want the graph to look like this. So we jump over to customization, we put in our chart title. We're going to put this on the bottom. Okay, so that puts it down there. And then we're going to continue here, and I'm going to change this horizontal axis title to gender. And the left title, change to so basically they were just opening and closing their hand. And then we go down to customization. And again, this is where, because it's this type of a graph here, we can select either bar, which is kind of a big deal because then when we put in the error bars, we actually get the bars to show up. So I'm going to go men first. And again, we have different standard error for each bar. So this is the number I want to put in here. So I need to go here and click constant, and then I put in 7.94. And it extends a bar off of the mean that goes up 7.94 and down 7.94. And I need to do the same thing for the women here. And I go constant, and I'm going to put in 7.34. And now I have an error bar on there. Okay, so I have these two error bars. Now, again, what in the heck do these bars represent? This is the mean of our sample. And our sample were the high school freshmen here in Oostburg. So the real true mean, again, this is the sample mean. The true mean is what the mean would be of all male 14-year-old muscular endurance in the entire world. So the true mean is something we'll never really know because we're never actually going to do that experiment. But from our sample, what we can do by doing these error bars, we have a 68% chance that the true mean of all freshman men everywhere, the mean would fall in here with a 68% chance that it's in this range. The same thing with the women. The true mean of everyone everywhere has a 68% chance of falling within this range. And from that, these we can make somewhat of a conclusion here. So that's how we put our bars on here. Now, how do we take this and make a little bit of a conclusion? So again, this is represented slightly differently. But if these bars overlap a lot, they are not different. Okay, so these don't actually overlap. Okay, but if these were overlapping significantly, you would say that there is not a significant difference between the forearm muscular endurance of men and women. So if the error bars significantly overlap one bar to the next, there is not a significant difference. Now, in order to say, now these don't overlap, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that there is a real difference between men and women's forearm muscular endurance of these freshmen. To be a little bit, to make that assumption, you should have typically like a 20, a quarter of this range should not overlap. Okay, so that's half the width of the error bars before the difference is significant. And again, that's just an eyeball kind of thing. It's not necessarily statistically super accurate. But if they are separated by half the width of the error bar, then we might be able to say that this group is different, significantly different than this group. Okay, so 68% you might say is not a really big deal. So then if we double that, we can get to 95% confidence that the true mean is somewhere within this range. So if we double the standard error of the mean and then put that value into the making the error bars, this is our 95% confidence interval. That within this range now, 95% chance that the true mean of everyone in the world would fall within this range. So that's a lot more confident. And when we make conclusions with that, they can overlap now because the bars are much longer. The confidence intervals can overlap by as much as 25% of their total length and still show a significant difference between the means. Now, at this point, if your confidence intervals are not overlapping at all, you can, with pretty darn certainty, say that the groups are different and that this group is significantly different than this group. So again, what the heck are we saying as far as this goes? They don't significantly overlap, so we are not going to say for sure, absolute certainty, that there is no statistical difference, but yet they are not spread by half the width of the error bar. So you can't say with a tremendous amount of certainty that the men have more muscular endurance than the women. So again, we're not coming up with this absolutely wonderful conclusion, but we can communicate the results a little bit more accurately instead of just saying this bar is bigger than that bar.